Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us today. Right off the bat, I want to begin by recognizing and sincerely thanking the Keleman family who are here with us this morning. Your strength and courage and your willingness to turn heartbreak into advocacy is extraordinary. And within days of this tragedy and losing their daughter, they reached out to me. And I was shocked, but very, very honored that they would welcome me in at that time. And I was amazed at the fact that they were already starting to talk about honoring Megan's legacy to do something big like this. And here we are a year later today. We're deeply sorry for your loss. We're profoundly grateful for your presence and your leadership. This bill, in my view, is a wonderful reflection of your love for Megan and your commitment to protecting others in her name. 1 year ago today, the Kelemans experienced the unimaginable, the loss of their daughter Megan in a tragic shooting. And in the midst of that grief, they made a choice that moved me deeply. They chose to act. They asked how something good could come from something so painful. When I first met Nick and his family, I was struck by how clearly they spoke about who Megan was. They told me she was kind, that she had a heart for helping others, that she lived with empathy and purpose, and they made it clear that this wasn't just about mourning her loss, it was about honoring her life by making change. The legislation we are introducing today is a direct response to that call. It's a call for change, but it's also a response to the evolving needs of our communities. Today, drive-thru services are more common than ever. Whether it's picking up dinner, refilling a prescription, completing a bank transaction, or other ways, people are using drive-thrus every day. Businesses are expanding these services to meet demand and the limited time constraints that people have. But what hasn't kept pace is the infrastructure to support safety during these transactions. Emergencies can happen anywhere, anytime. If a medical crisis occurs, if a vehicle breaks down, if someone is in distress, there must be a way to exit and a way for emergency responders to reach people in distress or in harm's way quickly. That's not just good design, that's basic public safety. This bill, Megan's Way Out, would require that all newly constructed or significantly renovated drive-thru facilities, whether for restaurants, pharmacies, or banks, include a bypass lane. This is a dedicated path alongside the main lane that allows vehicles to exit in an emergency and allows first responders to access the scene without obstruction. It ensures that no one is ever trapped without a way out or without access to help again. The legislation is written to be both effective and practical. It applies only to new construction and major renovations. It also includes clear exceptions for locations where adding a bypass lane is not physically possible, for example, where a drive-thru is integrated into the building or where the property does not have space to expand. We believe this approach strikes the right balance. It addresses a serious safety concern while being mindful of the realities that our small businesses face. It is a straightforward idea, but one that could save lives. The bill represents smart, responsive planning. It recognizes how the world is changing and how our safety standards must evolve to keep up. It is not just a response to one tragedy, it is a step toward preventing future ones. And none of it would be possible without the strength and advocacy of the Keleman family. I want to also take a moment to recognize the work being done at the local level. Mayor John Probonik and his team have engaged from the beginning, thinking through logistics, coordinating with local officials, and bringing people together to find a thoughtful path forward. That kind of leadership makes a difference. It's now my pleasure to introduce someone who has been a steady and compassionate partner in this effort and a friend. Please join me in welcoming the Mayor of Stow, John Probonik.
Thank you. I want to go ahead and say, if you don't think this can happen in your community, you're wrong. It can. It can happen anywhere. And Stow is no different. But it's what path we take from this point to go ahead and move forward. That being said, from the first day, that unfortunately, under those circumstances, I had to meet with Mr. and Mrs. Keleman, there was something different that I felt besides the tragic loss. It was a sign of hope. And we all have our cities to where terrible things happen. But this one was different. This one was different. There was a true loss. As I attended the funeral of their beautiful daughter, there was also a feeling of hope. Not a feeling of anger, and I know, Mr. and Mrs. Keleman, you had every right to feel that anger. But their trust in their church and their strength have brought us today where we are. It has been already 1 year. And I'm sure that it's been one hell of a year for you and for your son. That being said, as a city, how could we go ahead and move forward as the Kelemans move forward of making that pathway for Megan? And the answer is Megan's way. So I'm very proud today to go ahead and also explain to everyone what we're doing right here in our city of Stow. And then with the help of Mr. Weinstein, that we're going to move this out of this and build like a puzzle throughout the state of Ohio, throughout the United States. This is huge. It's a terrible way to go ahead and have action take place. But that being said, you can rest assured that we started this in Stow and we will follow through. Megan's Way Out was introduced and actually passed last Thursday, August 7th, in front of City Council. It was passed unanimously, and it states, and I just want to read, it's ordinance number 2025-142. An ordinance amending certain sections of COS, particularly to add section entitled Supplementary Regulations for Drive-Thru Facilities, to include bypass lane requirements for all drive-thru facilities in our city. And as Mr. Weinstein said, we want to go ahead and address this issue. We also are very realistic that we are business friendly. And we are going a methodical way of doing this. If there's major renovations or a new build with a drive-through, this is going to be in place. And again, it's not just a tragedy of your daughter, but as Mr. Weinstein said, it can happen to all of us. In a split second, our whole lives can change, even with a heart attack or whatever that case might be. It is for the safety of the general public and, again, of our residents, and hopefully, as this passes through different cities and states, and I've had many neighboring communities reach out to me and said, how are you doing this? So there is a great interest. So that being said, wrapping up, I just want to go ahead and say, as you well know, Megan's life will not be forgotten. And I do nothing but applaud you and your family and your team of the phenomenal things you have done under terrible, terrible circumstances that you live with 24/7. So again, as I've told you before, from the city of Stow, you have our full backing, and we are here for you. On one positive note, we do have, ironically, the same time that this legislation was passed, this past Thursday, a week ago today, there is a new Taco Bell being built on Norton Road in Stow, Ohio. When my planning director, Zach Cohen, met with them and our law department under the leadership of Mr. Drew Riley, met with them, we said, we want to implement something like that. And I want to applaud Taco Bell because it can happen anywhere. It doesn't have to be a Taco Bell. It could be a bank. It could be McDonald's. It could be wherever you visit that has a drive-thru. But the important piece was, as we explained this legislation, proposed legislation to Taco Bell, they said we're all in. And that's where change is going to happen. Change happens at local level and balloons from that point, and flowers from that point. So today we're here to go ahead, almost a year later, to recognize your daughter and keep her thoughts and her way of life and thinking first and foremost out there. And it all starts here in our city of Stow. With that being said, I'd like to go ahead and introduce Mrs. Keleman. If you'd like to come forward, thank you.
Hi. Thank you all for being here. My name is Kelly Keleman. I'm Megan Keleman's mother. Today marks 1 year since the death of our daughter and the sister to our son Matthew. We are pushing through these hard times and finding the courage to move forward. Our family will boldly stand for truth. We have a new normal. We have good and bad days, and we trust God for what we don't understand. We face the future with courage, and we press on. We hope that no matter what happens in your life, that you choose to be better and not bitter. A way we can make life better is through Megan's Way Out. This legislation, out of something bad, something good should come. Megan became trapped between a line of cars in a local restaurant drive-thru when an individual behind her ran into her. Some reasons that lead to car accidents and drive-thrus would be speeding, maybe a distracted driver, somebody checking their phone, texting, waiting for their order, somebody fatigued, maybe somebody under the influence of alcohol or drugs. No one expects to be in an accident in a drive-thru, which leads them to be less safe. Megan was trapped. She was stuck. She could not drive around the car in front of her to get away from this situation. He repeatedly struck her car, and the situation was escalating. There was no bypass lane. The curb was too high for her to drive over. She was wedged between two cars. She had no way out. She was held or contained in an enclosed space. She was caught in a trap. It prevented her from escaping or getting away freely. Being trapped is a feeling that everyone has experienced at some point in your life, whether it's an emotional state, it's a tough situation, or a physical circumstance. Being trapped can lead us feeling helpless and stuck. We learned that not all cities have zoning codes for open drive-thrus, which makes no sense, right? It's pretty simple, and this just makes perfect sense. Accidents in fast food drive-thrus may be more common than you think. It just doesn't make the news unless you died. With an increase in fast food drive-through customers comes an increase in the number of accidents. Drive-through restaurants are constantly trying to figure out ways to make more money because most of their revenue comes from drive-throughs. If Megan had a way out that day, we believe we would not be here today. This legislation will provide for others what Megan did not have that day. It will allow safe access for a bypass lane so that no one is ever trapped. It will allow for emergency medical responders better access in case of an emergency. In Megan's case, there were 2 people involved in the accident, and the squads could not drive up close to either one of their cars. There was an ambulance on the complete opposite side of this building. That just goes to show you the need. It makes perfect sense to implement this all across Ohio, and we hope to do this nationwide. Please support Megan's Way Out. It will be a cause of better serving the living. She left behind love and strength, and she will help others, and we want to honor her. Thank you all. I'd like to introduce my husband, Megan's father, Nick Keleman.
Thank you, everybody. We want to thank Mayor Probonic and the City of Stow for their support and for providing a location for this press conference. We want to thank Senator Casey Weinstein for his continued support and the work for submitting the Megan's Way Out bill to the state of Ohio. We also want to thank State Representative Derek Hall for his support within the State House. We want to thank all the members of the media for being here to cover our story and for the support you've given us throughout the past year. Finally, we want to thank our family, friends, church family, and the community of Stow. We also want to thank our team of people who support us and everyone around the region and beyond for the past year. What a difference a year makes. We all know what happened last year on this day, an event that changed the life of my family and close friends. This event had a big impact on the community. It also had an impact on family and friends, and it also had an impact on, unfortunately, the individual, his family, and, that's all I could say about that. Last year at this time, my family and myself had a normal, boring life. We kept to ourselves, and we did not mind being in the background. Megan was still alive. A year later, a family of 4 is now a family of 3. We are no longer leading the quiet, boring life. We're thrust in the public spotlight advocating for common sense change. We're still asking the questions, why did this happen? How did this happen? We do know Megan could not get out. Megan was trapped. Megan had no way out. Everyone can relate to the situation. Being stuck in a 1-lane drive-thru with no way out. Anyone can put themselves into my daughter, Megan, that situation. A seemingly routine stop to a drive-thru to get dinner for their parents. Not understanding why someone is ramming the back of her vehicle. Not understanding why someone is so upset. Yelling out of their car and showing the physical rage that the vehicle was shaking. Not understanding why this individual was so full of rage and decided to hit her car again. Nervousness turned into fear because Megan did not understand what was going on and had no way out. Anyone could put themselves into my situation. I was on the phone with her the entire time. As a father, and for those who know me, I would do anything for anybody. I'd do anything to protect my family, and I could not protect my daughter, Megan. Due to this design of the drive-thru, as was stated numerous times, the EMS could not get to my daughter and administer life-saving procedures. With many questions and much uncertainty about this tragedy and still processing the aftermath, I know and I stand firm in my conviction, if there was an exit lane or 2 lanes, Megan would have escaped, Megan would still be alive, none of this would be happening right now. It's the responsibility of all businesses to provide a safe environment for their customers. Customers should feel safe while visiting a business. Customers should feel safe entering and leaving a business. A one-lane drive-thru clearly does not promote a safe environment. All businesses should find opportunities to perform best business practices, and a one-lane drive-thru is not best business practice. Megan's Way Out will ensure that all new businesses with a drive-thru or businesses with a drive-thru going through a major renovation will have 2 lanes or a bypass lane. And for those existing businesses, we'll have a case-by-case review to figure out what could be done next. Megan's Way Out will create a safe environment in a drive-thru, and it makes businesses to adopt best business practices. Megan's Way Out will prevent similar incidents throughout the state of Ohio like the one that occurred on this day, August 14th, 2024. This bill does not infringe on anybody's rights. This bill does not infringe on anybody's civil liberties. Megan's Way Out is for everybody, and anyone who was in this situation could relate to it. Truly, this bill should, and without a doubt, have bipartisan support. We made progress throughout the past year locally with Megan's Way Out. As mentioned, the city of Stow is adopting Megan's Way Out, and the final hearing for approval will be on September 11th, and we urge everybody to come out and support this. We are willing to work with other communities locally and throughout the state. By getting local support, we can build momentum and hopefully make this a state law. And hopefully we could get national attention and make this, get this approved on the federal level. Today is the 1-year anniversary of Megan's passing, and we feel today is the best time to announce Megan's Way Out. Megan always advocated on behalf of others and would speak for those who could not speak. Megan can no longer advocate for others, and she can't speak for anyone. We feel that Megan's Way Out will do both of that for her. This is our way of honoring Megan's legacy, striving to make positive change, and to speak for those who cannot speak. What a difference a year makes.
In closing, I want to thank everybody who came out here today, including family and friends of the Kelemans. Those shirts are popping up everywhere, and I know we're going to see more and more of them as this turns into a movement. To the mayor and his team for your steady leadership and partnership. It is wonderful to have local elected officials who are so utterly responsive and proactive and willing to fix wrongs like this. Most of all, to the Keleman family, I've been with you dozens of times since this happened in the last year. Every time I see you go through this raw emotion again, as you have to relive this as you talk about it. And your strength is just amazing, and I'm thankful that you're willing to do it. This legislation is about more than responding to one tragedy. It reflects a broader responsibility to design safer communities, to plan with intention, and to ensure that when emergencies happen, people are not left vulnerable or trapped without a way out or access to help. Public safety cannot be something that we do after the fact. It must be part of how we build, how we regulate, how we protect each other. This bill is one step in that direction. With the continued support of our community, our leaders, and families like the Kelemans, this effort can move forward, and it can help save lives in the years to come. A co-sponsorship request is going out from my office to my Senate colleagues today, and we've not filed the bill yet, so we're hopeful that if you're seeing this out there, that you'll reach out. If I'm not your representative or your senator, that you'll reach out to your representatives and senators, ask them to support this bill. As the Keleman said, this is not a political or a partisan bill in any way. This is about basic public safety that will affect and help everyone in every community. So please reach out. And to my colleagues in the Senate, I hope you'll give this thoughtful consideration, and I hope that we can use the momentum from today and this solemn day, this anniversary, to work for hearings this fall as we reconvene in the Senate in the next month. So I want to make sure to get that out there. I want to thank Representative Derek Hall, who's committed to offering companion legislation in the Ohio House of Representatives. So we'll have Megan's Way Out both in the Senate and moving in the House soon. And with that, I, the Kelemans, the mayor, are happy to take any questions that you have. Yes, sir.
So it's proposed at this point, it's not signed. What procedurally, can you explain what has to happen, where this will go, time frame?
Yeah.
And all of that for people who may not understand the
Yep.
legal process?
Absolutely. Our co-sponsorship request will go out today. We'll keep that open for a few days, probably into next week, at which point we will file the bill within the next week, 2 at the most. The bill will then have an official number. You'll be able to look it up on the ohiolegislature.gov website and see exactly what status it's in. It'll go into the Rules and Reference Committee, which will refer it to a committee for hearings, which might be the Public Safety Committee that I serve as ranking member on, which means we'll have an opportunity to advocate for hearings this fall. So there will be hearings in that committee, we hope, starting with sponsorship testimony, and then an opportunity for proponents and supporters of the bill to come down to the State House and talk about Megan and talk about the background and why we're doing this. We're hopeful that we'll be able to get a committee vote this fall, which would leave us next year to get this moved out of the Senate and onto the Senate, moves into the Senate floor, pass, and then go to the House, or the companion legislation could be moving concurrently in the House.
It's a lot of steps.
It's a lot of steps. It's a lot of steps.
Best case scenario, when could it actually become law?
Next year. I think next year we have a real chance to get it signed into law. Certainly can't speak for the governor, but he has generally been, I think, someone who would support a concept like this. And I'll be reaching out to him to speak about it. But my first step is, and my first commitment is to try to make this a bipartisan bill, which gives us the best opportunity to push for hearings through the committee process this fall. So our goal is to get this out of the committee that it's assigned to this fall.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Are you guys open to sharing about Megan? There's some beautiful things on this
Sure,
paper.
sure.
Yeah, just how you want her to be remembered and her character.
So Megan, she always would advocate for others, and I'm sure some of her friends who are here today would understand that's what she did, right? She'd come alongside you, provide you support. She always thought about others first. And it was clear by her career path. She got a job out of college. She graduated with her master's degree in finance, and she could have chose any high-profile financial type of job that she could have, but she decided to stay within the environment of, I can't even think right now, I gotta let go. She got a job at Shelter Care, serving others. And Shelter Care, if you look it up, they provide help for youths who are at risk. Really, I haven't been drinking today yet, so. At risk, kids who are having trouble. And she just wanted to get upstream at a young age to help kids to understand, it's okay to not feel okay. It's okay to get help. It's okay to, just understand that things aren't always easy. So she always advocated to help out other people. And the ironic part of this, and I swore I wouldn't do two things, mention the restaurant or mention the individual. However, if you do some research on this individual, he had issues. And how ironic a person with those type of issues took my daughter's life.
I think we've talked several times in your living room about making change, and what does it say about the impact that Megan had on so many people, that you've been able to do so much in such a short amount of time, including the scholarships, the runs, your shirts, and now this?
It's amazing because I go back to the night of the showing, and our family and friends who were there were like, holy cow. You think you know your kids, but you don't. The overwhelming support of strangers that I never knew that knew Megan, how she touched the lives of the campus at CSU, the 6 years she was there, the overwhelming support of a lot of friends from Stow Falls High School, the people she touched at Shelter Care. It goes on, and it's just truly amazing that her little random acts of kindness, just a little thing, how it just expanded to a whole community, to northeastern Ohio. And now she's gone, look what we're doing now. This isn't us doing this. This is Megan. Megan is doing this. We're doing this on her. This is about Kelly, Matthew, and Keleman here. This is about my daughter Megan, and with the environment that we're in and how you need to help out people and have common decency. So it's just, it's her. It's truly amazing. And I'm sure she's laughing right now saying, man, really? But that's how she was.
I have a question for the mayor. Could you talk about, so has the law, the policy passed through Stow Council, or what has to happen next to make it official?
Yes, it was presented to council last Thursday. They unanimously moved it forward. Since it is a zoning change, it will have a reading in a public reading also too, as far as zoning change. And that's what Mr. and Mrs. Keleman were talking about. We invite anybody in the public, whether you live in Stow or any surrounding area, that you feel very strongly with this, is to show up, and it will actually be in front of City Council. But again, I think the major step is that it went through right away, is saying, let's go ahead and do this because this is the right thing to do. So, thank you.
If there are no other questions, we're happy to hang around for any individual conversations you want to have. But just thank you so much again for being here for the Kelemans. I know what legislation with momentum looks like, and this is a great start for this. I'm really optimistic for us this fall. So we'll definitely keep you posted and updated as to exactly where the bill stands, and very hopeful that we'll be together sometime soon with the governor signing this into law. Thank you again.
I need a Bloody Mary.
I know. I was actually thinking this. It's 5 o'clock somewhere.
Oh my gosh.
Can I just have a borrow moment of my? Yes, and
Nice to see you in person.
yeah,
No, that's fine, totally fine.